hello, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And I'm just drinking on some water here. Just still got a little water left. So I'm going to drink on that throughout this podcast because hydration is important. And guess what? Honestly, I am quite thirsty today. So I might get another water maybe in between this podcast or during this podcast. Depends on how thirsty I am. We shall see. But what I don't have to go do and grab is my cup mug because I always have it handy, period. And you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we do ship internationally and globally. So there are no excuses. So, unless the country is on fire, or underwater, then that means take a minute, get yourselves together. We'll be praying for you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we hope everyone is safe. But after everything is back to normal and everybody's settled and you're ready to be happy again, get your cup merch. Period.
Celebrate with the cup mug.
Celebrate with a cup mug. Period.
Absolutely. Well, hello, hola. I am Eduardo, the Mexican representative of this podcast. I'm here to talk shit and get hit. Uh, Today, I'm a little sick. My nose is runny and my throat kind of hurts, so I'm just drinking water so I don't dehydrate and die. Hydration is important. I don't want to die. But yeah, I'm so tired of the season. I'm so exhausted. But I guess we have to talk about it. So yay! Uh,
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I was going to save this one, but I couldn't. After this episode, I had to wear this one. I'm wearing my Pythia shirt with one of my favorite looks ever on Drag Race, honestly.
I mean, it's one
Um,
of the best ones.
for sure. Yes. So I love Pythia, and I love the shirt. I'm not drinking anything because I just finished my monster I have here. So I'm probably going to be thirsty.
Oh, well, it happens. And we are here to talk Global All Stars episode 9. And it was an episode. It was an episode to watch. I think we will have some interesting takes on this episode. We were talking a little, well, I wasn't doing a lot of talking. They were doing all the talking beforehand. And it's going to be some opinions and some thoughts. You might like it, you might not. We'll see how it goes. But just know we are all entitled to our own opinions, and you are entitled to yours. So
I think we're gonna have some cold takes, to be honest.
I think,
Yeah, fully.
Pretty cold
I
takes that
I
I
everybody
think
else
mean, I
is
think
thinking
y'all
everyone
of.
might have
has
some cold takes. I think it might be some hot takes coming
Ooh,
out from me.
okay,
So we shall
love that.
see.
possibly, but if
Possibly.
this keeps the trend going with the makeover challenge always infuriating me,
Oh, well,
so the
look,
trend
look,
continues. The trend continues for sure.
we
Lord
will
have mercy.
we will see what happens and all of that. So, but before we jump into this episode, make sure you to subscribe to this channel and all of our channels. This is a network. We have 3 other channels we would love for you to subscribe to as well. Help us reach 2,000 on this channel. Help us get to all of our goals on our other channels. We want to raise the stakes. We want to get out there and continue to make great content for all of you. So, in order for us to do that, we need your support. So, please support this channel. We appreciate you. And I ain't too proud to beg. So, please support this channel. Okay. Get out, hit the subscribe button, the follow button, all of that things. And you could go down to the links in our description below, where all of our other links will be down there as well as our audio podcast links. So if you need to check us out on the go, we have those links down there for you. And our Patreon is down there as well. So if you want to get some early access to all of our look over here's and other things that we have coming out of from our other channels, and exclusive content coming from all 4 channels, you want to hit that, join our Patreon, see all the craziness that we got going on our Patreon happening right now. And Lana G's Creations at Etsy.com for your cut merch. That link is down there as well. So do all the things. We appreciate all the support and continue to help us out. Thanks. Let's get into this episode. We walk back into the workroom and people are sad. So sad.
I'm still upset. I'm still upset by Pythia's elimination, and I will never financially or emotionally recover from this. Drag Race, you have ruined me. How dare you?
I mean, Pythia was somebody who I was very, very happy to get to know this season, and I was very sad to see Pythia go. I was like, no, because she gives us such great looks. Like, no.
That was so angel coded how you did that. No.
Lord.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I'm also very sad, but I did find out like an interesting statistic from my roommate the other day. He says the only people who have won Drag Race on their 3rd try are like Canadian imports or exports. So like either people on Canada versus the world or people who have gone out from Canada and won a different franchise. So I have a lot of hope for Pythia on her 3rd try. 3rd time's a charm, girl.
Canada versus the world.
Yes. But yeah, nobody was more upset than Nelania. And I'm like, oh, my poor sweet Nelania. I did not realize they were as close as they were. But luckily, she probably won't have to be without Pythia for very long.
Yeah.
I do want to circle back a little bit to them congratulating Vanity for winning the lip sync.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I did this solely for my mom. My mom is a huge Celine Dion fan. So I wore her jacket and I thought of her the entire time. So I thought that was really sweet.
Mm-hmm. It made sense why her performance was just so personal and why I just liked her performance.
Yeah.
She just did a really good job. But yeah, it was such a sweet moment for her to have that and be able to do that for her mom. And everybody just was like, happy for her, sad for Pythia going home, happy for the winner and
For Queen and Kitty.
Kitty for winning. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, sure, great. And it was pretty much just that. It was just them happy and congratulating and telling the stories.
Yeah, and then we get the whole mess with Nelly and Alyssa.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
by the way, I found it so funny that Alyssa was telling Nelania, like, do a kick. Let me see how high you can go. And then, like, Nelania kicked higher than Alyssa. Alyssa kicked to here, Nelania kicked to here, and then Alyssa was just like, oh, you cannot kick for shit. You're so bad at this. And then, like, it felt very weird for me, but it was so stupid and so funny.
Yeah, there's good tweets like showing a side-by-side comparison, and it's like Alyssa's leaning back, she's being held by another queen, and she's still not as high as Nelania. And Nelania took it well. She's like, I'm not a dancer, I'm just doing what I can. I'm a drag queen, so
I felt like I was kind of like, I get why Alyssa was saying stuff like whatever, you crunchy, da da da. You just called that woman a granny. And I, for one, hate when young people decide to call me granny or auntie or mama, because I ain't your mama, I ain't your auntie, and I ain't your granny. Don't be doing that because you're younger than me and just because.
But she deserved it.
Huh?
She deserved
also,
it.
we are
nobody deserves that. No. I'm not a fan.
We are returning from a roast, so we are
right
coming back from like being shady towards each other, so it makes sense.
True.
It
And
makes
I
sense.
saw, I thought all of this moment, these two, I saw it all in fun.
It was
Yes,
oh no, it was
absolutely.
definitely all in fun. It
It
was
was
so
very
much fun.
it was very clearly like Alyssa and Nelly have bettered their relationship
Mm-hmm.
and are able to now joke with each other. Something
Exactly.
that
Mm-hmm.
Nelly hasn't really been able to do with like most of the other people that remain on the competition. So it's fun to see Nelly finally like have a friend that she can like be shady with.
Yeah. It was definitely all in fun, and they both took it in stride and took it in fun. It's just, but like I get it. I'm like, don't call me granny girl. We cool, but don't do that, girl. But it was fun banter back and forth between the two of them, and it was a fun moment. And yes, Nelly outkicked Alyssa, which I'm like, girl, don't talk about her crunchy toe, her crunchy foot. If you can't even kick without assistance, you looking like a granny girl. You looking like one. If you can't do that if you don't want people to call you a granny. Be like, hold on, hold my leg up. That's what grannies do. But it was a good moment. It was funny because we did not have funny moments throughout this whole thing. So you know, it was all right. So the next day in the workroom, everybody comes back. Everybody's like, yeah, what we gonna do? What we have? Still talking about Pathia a little bit, still talking about Vanity and how she's, winning and she's now the lip sync assassin. She done took out 3 people, pop, pop, pop. And so everybody's like, all right, we got a new assassin on the loose. Here we go. And ooh,
We have a mini challenge.
yes,
Mhm.
Tessa it was something happening, but I can't remember what they
Yeah, we
said. But
had a mini
mini
challenge.
challenge comes out. Rue
Yes.
comes out looking like Rue. And everybody's like, oh, I'm all right, Rue, looking like Rue. I'm like, Rue looks like Rue, but sure, great. Uh, Rue comes out, and the mini challenge is a majority rules, basically, challenge. And so you have to answer the questions. Who knows who know her or she know me or whatever the name of it was called. And so it was some shady questions, but it was some nice
Mm.
questions in there. But it was a couple of shady ones in there, and you had to win. Whoever had the most points would win. It came down between Tessa and Queen, actually, who had the most points going into the last question. And the last question was the shadiest of them all, and it was, who do you think is gonna go home next? And everybody but Tessa and Nelania said Tessa.
Mhm.
And Tessa said Vanity, and Nelania said herself. Because Nelania was like, I'm not going to be shady. I say myself before I be shady and somebody coming after me and be mad at me. So I'm just going to say myself. Tessa was like, I said Vanity because she was at the bottom for 3 weeks and had to lip sync for 3 weeks, which logically
Understandable.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Logically makes sense. But everybody put Tessa, everybody else. And Tessa was like, oh, oh, okay.
Yeah, she was unimpressed and kind
She
of
was like,
upset.
all right, all right. Tessa did me because like I'd be like, uh,
It
She
was
not
she
gonna say
weird.
really said,
nothing.
"I know you're not talking about me. I know
You,
you're not talking about
you did you
me."
say my name? Okay. And then she just shut it down, and she was fuming inside, which I
It's fair.
understand because I would have been fuming on the inside, like y'all heifers said me.
Yeah,
Okay, 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 okay.
yeah,
But
it's
now I have
just
to show you. I have to prove you wrong. Now I have.
mhm.
It's one of those. Okay, now I have to get my head back in the game because apparently these heifers ain't taking me seriously. And so now I got to show you what I got to do. And so Queen ends up winning. Good for Queen. She wins. Pays Sabuni, and then she gets to pick the order in this makeover. She gets to choose her partner and she gets to pick who goes with who. Not pick the order, who goes with who in the makeover challenge where they bring back all the eliminated queens to come back. And I was like, oh, that's cute because now one less thing. about this makeover, they don't have to teach their person how to be a queen because they already a drag queen. So they don't have to teach them how to walk in heels. They don't have to teach them how to, do nothing. They don't have to teach them how to tuck. They don't have to do nothing. You just do it. This is what we do. But you had to teach them choreography that we found out that he had to teach choreography to bring back my girls. And so they had to pick their queen picked her partner, which obviously she was picking Soa. I was
Obviously.
like, the second queen got the pick, I was like, oh, she's picking Soa, no doubt.
I mean, who else would she have picked? Truly.
They're like sisters. They have a bond, so it made sense for her to pick Soa. And then she got to pick for everybody else. So she picks Eva La Queen for Alyssa. She picks Pathia for Nelania. She picks Gala for Vanity. She picks uh, Miranda for Kitty. She picks Athena.
Mm-hmm.
Athena. Okay, I want to make sure I said her name right. Athena for um,
Tessa.
Tessa.
Yes.
And did I miss anybody?
No, that's
No, I got everybody. Okay. Yeah, Athena for Tessa.
Yeah.
Did y'all think those were fair picks?
I mean, it felt like they were like Queen knew who got along with who, and so that's who she picked too. Like with everyone else, like we already knew that Gala and Vanity were pretty close on the competition, and like we now knew that Pythia and Nelania had a close relationship as well. So like it made sense to me that it felt like she was mostly going off of like pre-existing relationships, and then with like Miranda and Athena, she just went with two people that she thought maybe would do well with her, like with each of the queens. I think it was fair. I do think it was fair.
Yeah, I agree. They were pretty even. Like some of the queens are kind of hard because they don't necessarily look like anybody left in the competition. So you can't just go off of like, oh, who matches each other well. So I think going by chemistry and how they would work together was probably the best way to go.
Absolutely. So they pick their person to pick for them, and then they go off into getting ready for this makeover. We see a lot of, what are we gonna do? What do you want to do? What can you do this? You're gonna wear breastplates for the first time. You're gonna wear pads, and you got to tuck because we gotta have that tuck happening, and you gotta wear pads. And Gala's like, all right, let's do it. Um, Alyssa's telling Eva we're doing under eye lashes, and Eva's like, I ain't never did that before, but all right, you the boss. But Lelania is concerned how she's going to cover the eyebrows of Pathia because they're very thick. And she don't know. She's like, oh, Lord, I'm a makeup artist back in Italy, but not drag makeup artist. Like, I've never painted another drag queen. I've done like beauty spots and blah, blah, blahs. But what am I going to do? And she's concerned about the eyebrows. And it was wild. My favorite part of this whole workroom thing, and then I'll let y'all go off about what y'all liked about the workroom stuff, because I only got one favorite part about this workroom junk, was when Rue came into the workroom with Raven. Raven was there, makeup magician.
In dark mode.
In dark mode, very much so.
I'm just gonna say this right now. She was darker than Queen. She was darker than Queen.
She was darker than Soa.
Raven is Raven is white. Let's not forget that. Raven is a white man underneath all of that makeup. And I don't think I would have believed that if you would have told me that. Like if I didn't know, I would have thought this was a black man. I'm gonna be so for real. So like Raven, you do great makeup. Let's tone it down. Let's not. You're still in dark mode. This is wild. Anyways. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Okay,
No.
good.
No.
That makes me feel better.
No. I was like, is this just a goth look? Why is it? It's very dark, but you know, okay. I don't know Raven enough to know nothing about their style and their makeup, so I didn't. Mm. But anyway, um, so my favorite part of this whole thing was when Kitty and Miranda went up to talk to Rue. And because I've had this issue with Kitty this entire season and how shady she could be and how she just be like, "What? I didn't say anything. I just da da da." It's just my humor. It's that dry, sarcastic um UK humor that she has, and I'm like, sometimes it comes off a little bit, shady, a little bit. Okay,
Yeah, it's very dry.
but I love when Miranda was like, when Rue was like, "So Miranda, have you ever done cute before, that kind of this kind of drag?" And Miranda's like, "No, I never I didn't never want to do basic before." Like I was like, "Ooh, somebody finally called Kitty out for her basic um packages that she been showing on this program," because she was like, and then in the end, she's like, "I don't want to be basic." I'm like, "But all you've been is basic. Everything you've shown thus far has been basic." But that's just my opinion. Some people might not agree with that. I just think Kitty been basic this season, and I, everything she brought out, it'd be cute, but it'd be basic. It's it's basic. But then when Miranda was like, "Oh, I don't mind being ugly," I was like, not the double shot. Pow! She was coming for Kitty's neck during this walkthrough. I was like, but I'm like, finally, she deserves it because she's been popping off on everybody and she's been calling some queens some real ridiculous stuff. And I was like, somebody had to come back and get you. And Kitty was so stunned. She was like, don't be a cow. Don't be a cow. I was like, girl, she got you. Just take the losses. Just ow, ow. She popped you. That was my favorite part of the walkthrough. What about y'all? What anything stand out in the workroom that y'all want to talk about?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely one of my highlights. It really feels like Miranda is one of like the only people that can really go toe to toe with Kitty when it comes to being shady and like being kind of like having this type of humor. And so like I'm glad that Kitty is getting like a little bit of like she's able to go back and forth with someone, and she's not like the only one that's really going for this type of shade. So yeah, I that was definitely one of my favorite things. I also really liked something that Melania said. Melania said that in the makeovers, what's most important really isn't the look or isn't the makeup. What really is important is the chemistry and the vibe you have between partners. And I think that's kind of what mostly makes sense. We know for a fact that like the judging on makeover challenges tends to be dubious at best sometimes, but I do like this idea of like when you have good chemistry, they can't really get you for nothing. Like you will always have good chemistry, and they cannot judge you badly for having good chemistry. So I liked that. And other than that, yeah, I already said about Raven being darker than both of the Black Queens here. So Raven, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Light it up a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, I think you all covered the highlights for sure. The only other thing that I thought was kind of interesting was how many queens said they had never had anybody paint their face before. I was like, really? Because I figured that's how most queens get started, is somebody else doing their face. But like over half of the queens that were being made up said, yeah, nobody's ever painted my face before.
Yeah, it was wild, truly.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wouldn't that be how you get started? Somebody else painting your face? Because how do you just know? I'm just gonna start doing this and be like, oh, I can be a drag queen. Like, how do you know? I don't know. That's wild to me too. That's interesting. But then we walk through the next day.
Oh, I
Everybody's
also want
getting
to
cute.
say I hated the the Facetune AI shit that we tried
Oh,
to
that
do.
app. That was so
That
It
bad.
was sponsored by them, I guess.
It was, yeah, they
it
had
was
to do one
sponsored,
of them.
and so I got it, but like I hate every minute of it.
It
Like
was kind of
I
cool that it
get the
could do
figure.
that.
Yeah,
But it didn't do it right. It just like that. She said long
it
wavy
was,
hair, and
and they
that
gave
thing
it
said
straight,
straight. It's like,
straight, and it
and
also
it
was
was
mostly
so pink
black.
and black, and it was swag. It was. I was like, okay, Gala is a gorgeous person.
Yeah, I
How
was
in the
also gonna
world do you
mention
make
this.
that look
I
ugly?
was also gonna mention this. Well, once we get to it, but I guess I can mention it now. The before pictures that they use, like when they're showing or critiquing the
Hmm.
girls, they
The
did
mug shots.
these girls
Yes,
so dirty,
it was
so
mugshot.
dirty. Because most, like all of these girls, like out of drag, they're really attractive and really nice looking, and like they look like normal human beings. This like pictures that they took are wild. Like I think Gala is one of the most attractive people that I've ever seen in my life. God damn it! And that picture that they used for her was wild, with a capital W. Like what? What were we doing? What were we thinking? What was going on here?
It reminded
It,
me of that one drag con where they took all the close-up pictures of
Oh,
everybody and made like a collage.
that one was
That's what they
worse.
look like.
That one was worse. That
It
was
was.
worse because you could see like the glue and the stray hairs. It was wild. I could see Latrice's pores. I could see Latrice sweating in real time. Like
that's so funny.
that was worse. But yeah, these before pictures are so bad and so
These were
shady.
they were mugshots. It was like, here, let me take a picture of you real quickly. Like they didn't give him no warning. It was like, okay. It is bad. It was. I was like, these pictures are not that great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird. The AI app thing. I was like, that's weird. But so the next day we see them finally painting and getting them into drag, and Melania was having a little meltdown because she was taking it was not going as quick as she wanted to go, and she was like, I still have to paint my face, and I'm not done. And I think Queen was done really quickly. Alyssa was done pretty quickly, and so she was starting to panic a little bit because everybody was finishing, and she was like, "No, I'm not
Kitty put on
done."
like a stitch of makeup on Miranda and said, "You're done. You're beautiful. Goodbye."
Right? It was it was like, girl, she put on some foundation. She said, "Okay, let's smooth it out." Here goes some lip gloss. She did for some people's everyday looks. Like this
It
is
was
how I go
very
out.
demure,
It was
especially for someone like
very
Kitty.
it was very everyday. It was like, let me put some foundation on, let me put a little, a little blush on, just a little bit, a little lip gloss. I fix my eyes, do that, and we're good. We're good. That's like I got to get out of here in 10 minutes. I ain't got time to do my makeup full beat today. It's just I got 10 minutes. But I guess with the theme that she went to for with her runway look makes sense because it's like, well, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So a lot of people were done really quick, and Nalini was a little like, okay, I'm freaking out. Still, the eyebrows is a problem. Still trying to get the rest of the beat on. But of course, in true uh drag race fashion, everybody gets done in time. Everybody's fine. No need to worry. We got it. It's good. We're all in this together.
Yeah, it's
And
only
it's
happened
done.
once where someone has been late, and even then, I don't think they were actually late. I think they edited it that way, so it still hasn't happened, and I don't think it ever will. Truthfully,
And so after all of that and everybody was revealed and to see what they look like, pretty much everybody was pretty happy with the reveals. I'm guessing they didn't really say no, but I know Soa loved hers because she got to see hers and she was like, so
yeah. So I was living.
she was happy. Um, they didn't really show everybody's
Yeah, they showed
reveal.
Miranda's as well, and Miranda was
She was like,
supposedly happy.
yeah,
I wouldn't have been, but that's just my personal opinion.
she said, okay, here we go. Never had a face like this, but let's go. Let's make it work.
As she said, I've
And
never gone this basic before.
That's look, her words, not ours. And so I think we are at this point where it just happens.
Go to the runway.
Ew, I don't like that one. No way. There we go.
There we
And
are.
we have the judging panel with our guest judge from Germany, Miss Diane Brill. I was like, hey, I know her. Look at her. And she looks just as messy as she did in Germany. And you know what?
Reagan jacket.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she,
Reagan jacket.
she looks like she has more makeup and drag on than Rue. Like
Diane
she really
Brill.
went for it.
She is the true drag queen of the season. So
Truly.
we
But
got. But Rue, let me talk about Rue. Baby, this is
girl,
one of my favorite looks from Rue on this season. And David, I know you said this about the UK's look, but this might be my favorite season look from her season from all of the seasons that she did this year because she looks good.
It's a good week for her, I think.
Good week for Rue.
yeah. Raven did the makeup. The outfit is great. Everything about this is really, really good.
She walked in, I was like, ooh, now wait a minute. Rue coming from UK looking that good to this. Look at this. Oh, good week for RuPaul, indeed.
Couldn't have timed it better.
Couldn't have timed it any better. I think. Look, both of them looks might be in the top 10 favorite Rue looks of the year this season at the end of the year. Because, baby, this is
Yeah,
good.
if we give out like best host look, this might be up there.
I mean, we do have best host looks. Well, we might put that in there. Who knows? But baby, she's eating this gold all the way down with this, and I like the little dark patches that is all through this pattern on this. It's just good. It's just good. I think Rue was like, I'm about to outshine all y'all this week. All y'all finna look like peasants compared to me this week because baby, she ate. Mama ate down, and everybody else looks alright next to Rue. It's like, yeah, look alright.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what Michelle was thinking with this outfit. Michelle,
this isn't the best week for Michelle.
Yeah, definitely.
This little tube top thingy going on underneath the dress. Not a fan.
And Jamal
looks.
He looks like he's gonna go on a safari.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be the best dressed on that
best
safari.
dressed. He's the safari guy. He's the best dressed safari guy ever. His hat is just in the back. He didn't put his hat on, but baby, he gonna be the best dressed safari guy, and he gonna have all the people who is on his tour like, oh, he's so fine. Oh, he is fine. I will go deep into the jungle with you, man.
He says, if you look to your right, you will see a wild Diane Brill.
Absolutely. Diane just like, yes, her boa swinging around.
Raking yak.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay.
Fully.
But that's all we gonna show y'all because the whole looks is looks. That's literally it. So if you really want to know what we think about all the looks on the runway, you can check us out on Look Over Here, which will be out soon after this video drops. So be on the lookout and check out our Look Over Here so you can get all of our thoughts and our scores on what we thought about this week's looks. But we can get into the results of what happened.
Can we talk about first the Untucked?
Well, we haven't got to the Untucked yet.
Well, we get the Untucked and then we get results.
Well, we have to talk about the judging's critique.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself because I really need to talk about this Untucked.
You're in Logan mode. You're
right.
in episode mode.
I'm in episode mode. I'm trying to go.
This is how Logan does it.
Yeah. I'm used to the way Logan does it, so I've just gotten used to it. Sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. We have the the judges' critiques, and did we agree with the judges' critiques?
Mostly, mostly, yeah.
Mostly, they it was looking pretty clear who were the tops and the bottoms based on the
Mm-hmm.
critiques. I probably would have swapped a top and a bottom,
Okay.
but
I
for the
agree.
most part, I thought everything they were saying was pretty accurate. They just kind of okay. One thing that did bother me during the critiques
Please.
is all of this conversation with Soa about, oh my gosh, Soa, your face, you finally arrived. You
Yes.
finally figured out who you are. I'm not- Soa has always been a damn gorgeous drag queen.
Yeah,
I hate how they're just invalidating everything she's done up until this point because I never ever looked at Soa and thought, "Ooh, her makeup could use a bit of work." She's always been stunning. So, like, I was actually pretty irritated on her behalf.
yeah, and it
Absolutely.
also was really weird that they said that while she was wearing Queen's makeup.
Right.
Like they were basically saying, just copy Queen because your makeup is not good, and
Right.
so that was very odd
That
to
was
me.
rude and
It was.
odd, and it was, and like, I know so was kind of like felt like she needed to be like, yeah, oh my god, thank you, it's so great. But I'm like, inside I would be fuming because you're telling me that only way my make the what I did for myself is not good enough, but when somebody else does my makeup, then it's good. And that's you finally seeing me. Like, no, that's it's a way to tell somebody to warm it up a little bit without invalidating everything that they've done their entire career. Like you said, I don't like you said, David, I don't think anything was wrong with her makeup
No,
before. I don't think she was a I think she was a stunning queen before the Queen did her makeup, and she's a stunning queen after Queen does her
She's
makeup. But it just they were making it sound like everything she did was just
right.
wrong.
I actually like how she has always done her makeup because she really keeps her skin tone
Mm-hmm.
as her skin tone. And this was just like a
Light,
bit paler.
yes,
It almost looked like powdery too. Like,
ashy.
yeah. And I'm not saying it looked bad, but
No,
it didn't look natural at all to me.
mm-mm.
And there's a place for that, but I really love queens that can pull off a really natural skin tone on their face. And I think Soa has such a great skin tone as it is. So no need to pale it up a bit. So
Because that's what makes me feel, it makes me feel like you want her to lighten herself up instead of you're not appreciating her in her natural form, and her natural skin is beautiful.
mhm.
And I don't think she should have to lighten up her skin to be beautiful because what you saying? What you saying?
There's a
And
word for it, right?
mm-hmm. I mean, it was very much teetering the line of, hold on now, what are you saying? What do
Colorism a
you
little bit.
mean? Because warming up your tone is a difference from lightening up your tone.
Mhm.
So what do you want her to do? Because little golden flecks in melanated skin, great. That helps warm it up. But you want her to pale it up? Because that look like Queen is a little bit lighter than Soa, we know. And so of course, when she does her makeup, she can afford to go a little lighter in the powder because it works for her skin tone. That don't always work for darker skin tones. So just saying, don't y'all just don't do that. Soul was beautiful and her makeup was fine before. She's gorgeous. And like you
Mhm.
say, we love a natural queen who is who can appreciate and love the skin that they're in and can work with that. So don't feel like you got to lighten your skin, but you can make it warmer if you want to. But you were perfectly fine and perfect before. So do you, boo? Do you, boo? Ugh. But yes, yeah, I agree with you, David. I was annoyed by that too. I was like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. But um, anything else on that runway? In there? We saw some conversations with they loved who they loved. Like they went on tangents about the people they loved, and then they went on. They were like, you can tell by their reactions who they really liked and who they didn't particularly care for. But I don't think anybody did horribly bad in this on this runway. I thought this was a really decent runway for everybody. It was just some people just did better than others,
Mhm.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
I
some
think there
people
was a
just went
clear
more
winner.
basic. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. There was a clear
Like,
winner.
if there had been any, I'll spoil it. If there had been any other winner than Nalenia, I don't think they could have justified it. Honestly, she didn't give them a choice.
Yeah, yeah, truly.
Mm.
There wasn't
True.
really anything. And I have some thoughts on something that will relate to this, but we will
Okay.
get to it soon.
Let's go to Untucked then. Let's go to Untucked because I want to hear what
Okay,
you all thought
it's,
about that because that's what you were waiting for. Let's get into it.
yeah, okay. Lord have mercy. We were talking about this before we started the podcast. This was infuriating. This got me really upset. And I am a big fan of Queen Kong, and I have been like supporting her a lot. And I've been saying that if any of the like Ru judged girls are gonna be winning, I want it to be Queen because she represents so much. But this episode really, really bothered me by what she was saying because we're on talked, everyone's having a good time, everyone's kind of praising each other and giving each other like nice comments about each other, and Queen decides that this niceness is fake and that she doesn't like it and that now she wants to explode and call out Nalania. Why? I don't know. She tells Nalania that she doesn't like her makeup that she did on Pythia, that she thought that she was gonna be in the bottom, and that she just doesn't like her basically. And I just it just I didn't like it. It felt like Queen realized that Nelly was gonna beat her in this challenge and then decided to undermine her and make her look weaker, or like that she still had issues with like her performance. Which yes, there are things to critique about Nelania's like makeup on Pythia. We will get to it. I do have some thoughts about it, but it's not bad. And the way that Queen really went about it really bothered me, and it just I didn't like any of it. As I said, it felt very like insecure and very much like projecting like all those insecurities onto Melania and being like, "Oh, I don't think I did as well as I wanted to, so I'm gonna make you think you did worse than you actually did."
Mhm. And not only was it really rude to Nelania, but I felt so bad for Pythia just sitting there, basically being told, "You look like a dude. You look like a
Mm-hmm.
man right now. Your beard is showing." Like, that's gotta be very hurtful. Like, even if she wasn't the one that did her makeup, I just was like, "Oh, that really sucks for her because she's being dragged into this drama that you two have. She has nothing to do with it, and I just thought it was a really bad look for Queen. And I've been a defender of Queen. I like Queen. She's somebody that I could see like winning in the end and me being happy. But she's making it really hard for me to root for her because I want to be able to like your drag queen persona, but I also want to like you as a person. And this is one bad moment, but it's a really bad moment. It's a really bad
Yeah.
moment. So I'm trying to not let that sour everything else that I've loved about her for a couple of years now. But it just was very, very off putting.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It wasn't a good moment, but I don't think I could let this moment sour me from liking Queen as a person
Mm-hmm.
because we all have bad moments. And if somebody sour, if people are soured on us for one bad moment that we have, then nobody will have friends in this world. Nobody will like anybody because everybody has bad moments, and it was a bad moment for Queen. She didn't have to go in, but I think we also have to understand that this is still a competition. This is still a pressure cooker. This is still something that they're dealing with emotionally and mentally. And so I tried really hard on shows where like this where people are in pressure situations not to go too hard even if I don't like somebody. And sometimes I
Mhm.
do. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I go in on some people because I just don't like them. And I'm trying every day in my life to kind of stop doing that because judging somebody on when they're in a situation like this where this is their world, this is the their life right now, this is their bread and butter, this is how they raise take care of their selves and their families. It's a lot of pressure that they put on themselves, and it's a lot of pressure that they put. I think you hit the nail on the head, Eduardo. I think she is projecting how she is, the insecurities that she's feeling, because her look was good, but Nalania's was better. And I think she wanted to try to bring somebody down a peg because she felt insecure. And when we do feel insecure, we do stupid things and we say stupid things and we say stuff that is, it can be hurtful and harmful. But I don't want to just be like, you're a bad person because you said
Mm.
this. I don't want to do that. She did not look good in this moment. A
Yeah.
100% did not look good in this moment. I think that she has a right to say her opinion if she feels a certain
Mhm.
type of way about certain things. And but just because you have the right to say it and you say it, it doesn't come without consequence.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think her consequence is that she just looked bad in this, and she might have turned some people off of
Yeah.
her because of what she did, and she's going to have to deal with it. And I don't follow all the stuff. I know it's been some drama. Nalania was on a IG live at some point apparently, and talking about the incident and talking about a fight that happened between
Mm.
Queen and Alyssa due to this and all kinds of. I don't really know the details, and I try not to know the outside stuff or what happened later because I don't care. All I'm worried about is what's happening on the show that I'm watching. And then the outside stuff, let the outside drama be the outside drama. They'll fix it or they won't. That's on them. But I do think Queen should apologize to Nelania if she hasn't,
Mhm.
and to Pathia, because you're right, David. Pathia had nothing to do with this. She was drug into this um, because of the drama between Nelania and Queen.
Mhm.
And Pathia did not deserve to be called out like that and or whatever. But I don't think it's going to, for me personally, I'm not going to just be like, I don't like Queen no more because of a bad moment. Because if that's the case, then I would never like anybody because everybody has bad moments. The difference is hers was on TV.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I think mostly what happened is not only was Queen kind of insecure about her position in this
Mm-hmm.
challenge, but I also think she let her bias blind her a little bit because she clearly doesn't really get along with Melania, and that's
Yes,
absolutely fine. That's
absolutely.
absolutely fine. You're not gonna get along with everyone, and clearly Queen and Nelly just don't
It don't
merge really
matter.
well, and that's fine. But I do think that Queen kind of let her
Mm-hmm.
bias blind her because once we also get like to the judging and like who ends up in the bottom, I'm also gonna spoil it. When Kitty is in the bottom, she's like, "I didn't expect this. How is this possible? I'm so confused." But for me, it was very obvious
It was
that
obvious.
Kitty was the one that did the worst, and so it's very for me. It's clear that Queen is kind of being blinded by her own bias, like
Mm-hmm.
for her friends and for people that she doesn't really get along with, which is absolutely fine. This happens a lot in things like Drag Race and in like shows like this where it's like a talent or like
Mm-hmm.
something that you have to perform. This happens a lot, and so I think that's kind of also I think to take into account. Like Queen has biases for and against some people. That's gonna happen naturally, and I think maybe she was blinded by them in this
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah, I agree. And it definitely kind of makes Queen and Kitty look like mean girls, especially Kitty. Like while Queen's going through the rant, Kitty's like giving confessionals, backing her up. I I just kind of wish that there was somebody else in that workroom that had kind of spoke up for Nelenia because it felt bad. Like I think one of the worst things that can happen is when somebody's being picked on, and it did feel like she was being picked on in this moment, is
Yeah.
when people just sit there and watch. And that's what I got. I do want to say Vanity was like, you did great to her in the moment. And if Alyssa really did stand up for her and get in a fight with Queen
It should have been
over,
aired.
that should have been on the TV, because I think people would have really appreciated that about Alyssa, who's been pretty polarizing. I would have loved that.
Mhm.
And the only other thing I want to say is Queen did address this incident on her Twitter. I wish she had gone about it in a better way. She was pretty like casual about it, like, "Oh, I'm the one that looks like a dude this season. Congratulations, Nelania." It just like I wanted more of an apology in her
Mhm.
statement, and maybe she has apologized to Nelania, which is
Mhm.
important to have that one-on-one apology.
Right.
But I think it's also important that us as fans, like, we want to make sure that there has been some acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and we didn't really get that publicly. Maybe she just needs time. She probably just watched the episode and needs to reflect on it. And that's a
Mhm.
good thing about this show is everybody who exists, like, our perspective is our own because we're the ones living our lives. So
Mhm.
it really helps to see an outside view of what you're doing, because you might have no idea when you're crossing a line. So I really hope that a lot of the queens this season are seeing, oh, is that what I did?
Yeah.
And just like really realize, wow, check this out. Like, I need to think
Check
about
myself
how I'm
about that.
acting, think about
Mhm.
how I'm reacting, and grow from it. So I'm really optimistic for everybody involved.
I agree. And I think that if you're going to do something publicly, if you're going to embarrass someone publicly, you owe them an apology privately and publicly, because that one-on-one
Agreed.
apology is something that you definitely should do. But I think people lose the fact that you embarrass somebody publicly, you should publicly apologize for your actions as well. And a lot of people are like, well, it's not between them, it's between me and him. Yes, that's great. A one-on-one apology is great. But one-on-one, the public still thinks you did some wrong, and they're going to take it out on you. And as a public figure, when you're on TV and doing things like that, you have to take that into account. Sometimes, like if I have an argument with David privately, or publicly, nobody cares enough about me or David enough, when we're arguing in the street. Nobody really cares enough for us to be like, oh, you need to give him a public apology. No, I'll just apologize. You know what, David, I'm sorry. But if I did it on this platform, and if we're here on this platform and I publicly embarrass him and like da da da, I
Countless
can't.
times. No, I'm
Huh?
kidding. I said
Stop it.
countless times. I'm kidding.
Look, shut up, David.
Shut
Stop it.
I thought we weren't talking about
We're
this
not talking
anymore.
about that now. David's fine. Everything's
It's in the
fine.
past. It's
We're
fine.
Yes,
We're
I am
fine.
fine.
read the script, David.
I am okay. Lana is amazing and has never done anything to hurt my feelings.
Period. Thank you.
You forgot to promote her Etsy. How dare you?
Go figure. And please go to lanagcreations.etsy.com. Thank you.
but no, seriously. If I did it on this platform, if I just publicly humiliate and said something all out of pocket, and then I just go in the group chat, oh, sorry, David, and never come back on this platform and say anything again, that's kind of foul. Because if other people are watching, you need to do something. So I do hope Queen watches the episode, let it sink in. Even if she apologized to Nelania one-on-one, she should at least say something publicly and be like, the casualness of that, hey, I'm the one that looked like a dude this season. Be like, congratulations, Lily, and I apologize. Like, that's all she had to do at the end was like, and I'm sorry. And it would have been done. So hopefully she does that. That would be great. But I hope they figured out between the two of them what they want to do. But anyway, we do have some results, and we have a top 3 of Queen Kong, Nelania, and Alyssa Edwards. with, we already spoiled it, the winner being Lana. Who would you have not had in that top 3, David? Because you said you would have swapped.
I wouldn't have had Queen in the top.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought
can we
her
disagree?
silhouette was a little too familiar. I've seen it. I've seen that like in a design challenge she did. She did the exact same silhouette she had there, and the outfits were good. They're just a little too basic for me. So I would have put somebody who had a better concept in the
Which
top 3.
is
I would have had Tessa in the top 3.
period. Me too.
Yeah, I agree,
Me
but
too.
I would have, instead of Queen, I would have switched Alyssa, because I
I really
personally
like
am not a
this.
huge fan of this silhouette that Alyssa's doing, and this is not Alyssa's fault. This is just my personal taste. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of the '60s mod dress that she's doing. So,
River's coming for you.
and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Uh, it's just not for me. I've never been a huge fan of it. It's hard for me to like really appreciate it, and for me to really be like, oh yeah, you pulled it off. And so it's just not for me, clearly. So yeah, but I agree. I think Tesla should have been top.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I would have switched Queen and Alyssa in the top, and I would have put Tessa in Vanity because
Oh,
I liked Vanity's look, even though it was it was simple, but it was, I liked it. I liked what she did with it, but that's just my personal opinion. Y'all can argue with me if you want, but look over here to see how we really feel about it, because that's where, look, if you're not watching Look Over Here, you're only getting half the story. But our bottom 3 was Kitty, Scott-Claus, Vanity Vane, and Tessa Testicle, which we all disagree with apparently. But our bottom 2 was Kitty and Vanity. I was just like, so we're here to finally send Vanity home is what y'all trying to do. Okay. And because with this whole storyline that was going on with Kitty going through her meltdowns, and she's just like, oh my God, I don't want to be basic. I'm not basic. I don't want to be basic. And oh my God, I've never had to lip sync for my life. I've never had to do this. I don't know. I was like, so this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And you want me as a viewer to believe that someone who has never lip synced for their life and Kitty Scott-Claus is going to be the lip sync assassin in Vanity Vane in a lip sync today. Okay. All right. Oh, you know what? Okay. Maybe. Now, this is somebody who has never watched Vanity season or Kitty season. I don't know, but I've seen Vanity lip sync 3 times this season. So I'm like, I know what Vanity can do. Have no
I've
idea
seen her
what
5 times now.
Well, shoot, heck yeah, 5 times.
Yeah, because she had a lip sync for the win.
Lord, I
too.
forgot.
I forgot about that. So
lip
we've
sync for
seen
the win.
Vanity so many times lip sync. I've never seen Kitty lip sync. So I'm like, okay, maybe Kitty is just an amazing lip sync. I just don't know. Okay, let's find out. And then the lip sync starts. I like the song, and I can't remember. What was the
It
song?
was
Yeah,
Believe by Cher, wasn't it?
yeah, Cher,
Yeah,
Believe.
it was Believe.
I was like, I know the song. So I was like, oh, okay, Cher, like the song. Here we go. You will never go make me believe, producers, cameraman, and everybody else who tried to make me believe that Kitty won this lip sync. Because I was like, sure, she had some little quirky little things in there, and she was flopping on the floor, because that's what she was. She wasn't dipping, she was crashing on the floor. It was like, bam, shablam. I was just like, that's like me trying to like, I would hurt myself, and it would look a mess. It just didn't. You ain't gonna make me believe. My eyes saw what it saw. I'm just saying, my eyes saw what it saw, and I saw that Vanity won that lip sync.
I mean,
That's all I'm
yeah.
gonna say.
It. I said this before we started the podcast. This felt very much like one of the storylines that they give like winners when they do really well throughout the competition, and then they put them in the bottom one episode so that they can show vulnerability or something along those lines, and then they go to end up winning. This felt like that what they were trying to do with Kitty, but it didn't work in any way, shape, or form because Kitty fairly lost that challenge. Not challenge, that lip sync, because she they were trying to make us believe that Kitty had one of the funniest, most iconic lip syncs that we've seen, and I didn't find any of it funny. It wasn't creative. It wasn't funny. We've seen the mic uh, before. We saw Hanaconda do it. It wasn't anything like
I do it
that we
every
haven't seen
episode, isn't
before.
it hilarious?
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah,
like
I
and
laugh every time you do it, David. Every time you pull out the microphone, I'm like,
yeah, I just think it's so weird that we like that we're supposed to believe that Kitty doing a death drop that was like one of the crunchiest death drops I've seen her do is super funny, or like seeing her do this face a bunch of times is just equally as funny as like the whole Manamana lip sync. Like it's not, and it's very obvious to me that Kitty lost the lip sync, but they were clearly not going to get rid of her. So it felt like just a waste of time, basically. At the end of the episode, it felt like a waste of time to like watch this lip sync.
I might have a slightly different perspective on this because I do want to give Kitty some credit. Like, I do think that there were things that she was doing that were funny, and I think she did this with the best angle that she could, just knowing her skill set. I think she did a good job of leaning into the humor and showing that she can do a few other things, even if it's a little crunchy. Like, I didn't expect her to do a death drop at all. So I do think that she impressed me to a degree. And on the other end of the spectrum, Vanity, we've seen her lip sync 5 times now, and she's been so consistently strong in the lip syncs. For me, this was the most reserved and held back she's been in a lip sync, and I didn't expect that from her. It almost felt like she was a bit resigned. I still think she did really well. And I guess my perspective is that it was closer than it had any business being. But what turned me off was the gaslighting throughout the whole performance and the over the top laughter and just the inability to let us make up our own mind with Kitty and whether she was being funny or not. Nobody can convince me they didn't. Each of the judges were not prompted to laugh as hard as they could before the lip sync even started. I am 100% certain that they got notes to do that because they were not going to lose Kitty. And they just oversold it for me, and it made me feel stronger in Vanity's direction than I probably would have been if they had just been like real with their laughter. Like, that was so off-putting. So yeah, I do think Vanity won. I don't think she won by a huge margin, but it was just the whole behavior of the judges throughout that really turned me off.
It's so
Yeah,
funny
I
how we
mean,
all watching the same thing and we have different perspectives because I thought Vanity won by a huge margin. I was just like,
yeah,
to
but
me, it
also
was
for
no contest, but
yeah, also for me, but also I am not a huge particular fan of Kitty's comedy, like normally. So like
mhm.
once she's going for, like, was it already not gonna really work for me, like from the get go, because Kitty's comedy is just not my comedy, and that's absolutely fine. But it just like I think it was a mix of that and like David said, the over the topness of
Yeah.
it, and like how the gaslighting of, oh look, Kitty is being really funny. Laugh, 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 laugh. And I'm just sitting here like,
Laugh.
I'm
It's
not
funny.
finding
You need to
any of
laugh.
this super funny. Like, I think it was a mixture of both for me as well.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we did not get what I wanted to happen. But Vanity is now eliminated from the competition. Kitty wins the lip sync, and yeah, we're going into next week with the same people that we thought we were going to go into next week with. But I will say, it wasn't Tessa, so everybody was wrong, and including myself, because I sure thought that they were about to get rid of Tessa this week. I was like, and the way people were
No,
talking, I was like,
I called it. I thought this was gonna happen since last week.
yeah, no.
I
I,
I was not shocked, which is
uh,
unfortunate. Like it's become predictable at this point who's going and who's staying, and I wouldn't be shocked if either Nalania or Tessa goes home next episode.
next week. Mm-hmm.
I would
But
not be shocked at all. I hope I'm wrong. I truly do hope that I'm wrong, so that this season can really surprise me in more of a positive way rather than a negative way. Um, I'm hoping to be impressed because so far I have not really been impressed, other than like in the first two episodes, in which like it was mostly positive. Like, and so I want to be impressed, and so I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping to be proven wrong.
but shout out to Vanity because you came in here and you did what you needed to do, and it was amazing getting to watch you, getting to know you. I have become a fan of Vanity Rain, and I did not watch her original season, so I had no idea. And then the comments that I heard were so different from the Vanity that I saw in this season, and she was one of my favorites. I probably would say my favorite. So I'm very sad to see Vanity go. Um, I love her. She's so good. She's so good, and I appreciate even when she is put in situations that is not ideal. She finds a way to make it work, and so I'm a fan of Vanity Vane. I kind of really like her. So sad to see her go.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
You were
I
gonna say
agree.
something, David?
Yeah. I think other than maybe Raja D. O'Hara, I've never seen somebody get such a redemption between their first season and their second season.
Mm,
Silky's also up there, but like it's just incredible how many fans she won over, including myself, including Logan.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
And yeah, I just really hope for great things in her future. She's somebody honestly like of this cast that I would love to talk to, like
Mhm.
do an interview with her.
Yes.
So that would be amazing. I feel like we would really be able to connect with her. So fingers crossed. Who
Let's,
knows?
who knows what
Putting it out
happens?
in the universe. Nothing has been
Period.
discussed, but man,
Yeah.
I love her.
Do we have a draft update, David?
We sure do.
Well, I don't care
So,
about this because I've been eliminated from the draft.
oh no.
Woo! Anyways, Vanity, hi, love you.
Hmm. Okay, so currently in fifth place is Eduardo. Um, now River is in fourth place with 55.5 points. Logan is in third place with 61 points. Dawn is in second place with 69.5 points. And apparently somebody named Robbie is in first place with 73.5 points.
Well,
Who's
the thing we
Robbie?
thought
No.
Robbie, we love Robbie.
Okay.
Let's not get it
I
twisted.
just
We love
never met
I
him.
Robbie.
just never
Robbie's
met Robbie.
iconic.
Okay.
Robbie
Don't know you, Robbie.
is a YouTuber. You can look him up. Robbie for short. Shout out. We
Love you,
love
Robbie.
Robbie.
Sure.
I mean, obviously Robbie wasn't gonna really show up, but we thought that Don would show up for these podcasts, and they didn't. So you
Don's
know
busy
what? That's
too,
fine.
so
So out of the people that have constantly been here, Logan is number one, right?
yeah. Is Logan River
I
than
think so.
you?
So
Mhm.
So Logan is winning, basically.
I'm surprised Logan's not doing better because Logan has Queen and Tessa, and they're both still here. But I guess Logan did get stuck with Athena, who was
Yeah.
out first. So if it hadn't been for that,
Yeah.
Logan really knew how to pick those first couple of people because they've been doing really well.
Word. But that is that, y'all. We are going to get out of here because we got to talk about some looks in a minute. So I hope you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you for sticking around. If you stuck around, hit the subscribe button on your way out and the shares and the follows, do all the things. Go down and follow all of our other channels. Those links are in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links and our Patreon as well. And follow our. Oh, I did not even put it up. Or did I take it down? I might not
I
have.
think
I
you
didn't
took
put
it
it up
down.
the whole time. But it's fine. There's the banners. All of our socials are there. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want to follow David, myself, and Eduardo, you can do that too. That's fine. Get your merch, period, at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is also in the description below. And yeah, we're going to get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers.